Jimmy Vasser picks the pace up way early, over in 3. They string out. We'll see if they get the flag this time. Front row. Bet a green, you bet. Pole sitter leads him across the line, and we are racing here. As Zanardi falls in, look at Emerson Fittipaldi making a good move. And at the front of the battle, he touched into the wall.
He touched
Heavy
Greg Moore.
crash.
He touched Greg Moore right there. He just came down on him a little bit.
Emerson was really flying as he came through turn 1. Devastating damage to that race car. And, of course, we go back under yellow. Keeping an eye on Fittipaldi to make sure he is okay and make sure that everybody else got through clean. We didn't see any other car get sideways as a result of it. But right here on turn 2, Fittipaldi touches tires, gets into the wall, and actually slid from the turn well down the racetrack and sits on the exit to turn 2. So under yellow, with a lap and a half complete here in the Michigan 500, we'll go back and see if we can determine how this happened. Fittipaldi was the red car, definitely making a move high of Moore. And I think you're right. He just touched tires. The fire there, of course, is oil. When you smash in like
here.
that. Yeah,
see,
there it is.
He just clipped Greg Moore. That right there is an oil flash fire where broken oil line or something and dumped it out. That is not fuel. See, he goes right around him on the outside. See your red car up there just in front. Moore looked like he moved up maybe a hair. They're in there racing just inches apart, and he just touched, and that's all it takes. See him down here? Greg goes up just a little bit.
Yeah,
Emerson's coming down. See the piece of bodywork flying in the air right over that car. Boy, and I tell you, they were at the front of the field. The really lucky part is the rest of the field didn't get involved in that.
Well, there is Carl Hogan, who is the owner of Emerson Fittipaldi's car. You can see he's frustrated and angry with that situation. We'll check on Emerson, and we'll be back. We are back at Michigan International Speedway, the Michigan 500, which is under yellow. It started under yellow, went to green for about half of a lap, and then Emerson Fittipaldi touched wheels with Greg Moore. Now, the report from the scene is that there is not a life-threatening injury there. In fact, we saw a moment ago Emerson Fittipaldi was conscious and was actually talking to and aiding his rescuers. Now the rest of the field circulates behind the race leader, Jimmy Vasser, and he, of course, lines up behind the pace car. Danny, this is what happened.
Yes, right down here on the bottom in that light blue car is Greg Moore. And above him, right up here, is Emerson Fittipaldi. And then they go moving. Emerson's got the momentum. He's got a great start going. Greg's a little slow. Emerson's passing him around the outside. Right here, stop right there. They just touch right in there. Emerson clips Greg's front of his car with his rear, and it just turns him enough, and he gets up into the wall. That flame that you see there is an oil fire. That's not a fuel fire, and he stayed in there. The amazing part is, of course, is that nobody else got involved.
So we take a look here at Greg Moore's car to see, it's difficult to see on this side, but what damage there may be as a result of that. Gary Gerald is down in the pits. Gary?
Carl Hogan, I know you're concerned. Did you have any conversation with Emerson on the radio?
Well, not at first he didn't answer, and then finally he answered me. He said, "Get me out of here." So it sounded like from his voice was pretty strong, so we're hoping he's okay.
I know that that's the primary concern, but what great disappointment for a team. You're so primed, so pumped. The optimism was very high in this camp this weekend, it felt to me.
Yeah, we were pretty conservative all weekend, and we were running good, and we felt good, and if the replay is what it shows, someone hit us, and it just really perturbs me.
Thank you, Carl.
A very concerned Carl Hogan. He and his driver, Emerson Fittipaldi, share a very close friendship. Now, they do have Emerson out of the car, and again, we're talking a non-life-threatening injury here, and it may even upgrade from that. Jackaroot? So at the Michigan 500, the first laps run under yellow flag after Emerson Fittipaldi caught the wall. And then the lead changed from Vasser to Zanardi and finally to Greg Moore, who has the lead right now. The question that we have not yet been able to answer, but perhaps we can now, is the condition of Emerson Fittipaldi, Gary Gerald.
We moved back to the safety center, and we were advised that Dr. Steve Olvey might be available at most any minute, but then team members have also told us Dr. Olvey is preparing Emerson for a trip to Foot Hospital in Jackson, Michigan. It's a short 20 or so miles from the racetrack. He's complaining of pain in his back. Dan Lulgenbuhl, one of the vice presidents of the Penske organization, told us that it seems to be a similar concern that put Paul Tracy in the hospital after his crash yesterday. That's the extent of the information for the moment. The team seems to be very relieved, obviously still concerned, but they'll be taking Emerson in for further evaluation in Jackson.
Well, it seems like fairly good news that Emerson is not seriously injured, and I tell you. And so the second group finally comes in, gets their stop done. The helicopter is ready to take Emerson Fittipaldi to the hospital. We'll be back to Michigan after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. So the fight continues at the front of the field, broken off here. Let's go to Gary Gerald, get a further update on Emerson Fittipaldi.
Dr. Steve Olvey out from the medical center. Can you tell us about Emerson?
Yeah, Gary, Emerson's awake and talking. He's complaining of a lot of pain on the left side of his back. His vital signs are good. He's moving everything. We don't know what's causing the pain, so we're sending him to Foot Hospital in Jackson for further x-rays and examination, but does not appear to be anything very serious at this time.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, that's good news for Emerson Fittipaldi. We want to see him back at the track in an IndyCar right away. Steve Olvey is the Director of Medical Affairs for IndyCar. And they then airlifted him from the track to a local hospital, finally down to Miami. Earlier this week, surgery was performed on his back, and they pulled a little splinter of bone that was just right next to the spinal cord. The good news is the surgery was successful, and Emerson Fittipaldi is recovering now at home. And so with Emerson Fittipaldi out of the hospital, here is a big race weekend. What will a guy like Fittipaldi do on a day like this when the IndyCars are running?
I'd like to say to Paul Page and Denny Sullivan, I'll be watching guys what you're talking about, racing, from my home, and then we'll talk on the phone afterwards. Bye, Saints.
We're up here. We're right here. Emerson, without you, it's not going to be the same. And we'll talk with him a little bit later in the ABC show. Maybe we'll find out exactly what Emerson's plans are, because while he said he may retire, he's been a little vague. We'll be right back. Riding now with Christian Fittipaldi, currently 6th, and on the telephone from Miami with us is Emerson Fittipaldi. Watching Christian. Emerson, this has got to be tough for you.
Well, Paul, it's very tough to be here. I would like to be racing there, and I'm very, very happy to be watching the race anyway, and being recovering physically from all the damage I had in Michigan. And I would like to thank all the racing fans and the friends that give me a lot of motivation for recovery.
Well, Emerson, in that accident, which was very frightening, what exactly happened to you, and how are you now?
Well, I had the worst was the 7th vertebra that broke down, and I had a surgery by Dr. Terry Trummer, and Dr. Green, who is head of the Miami project. And I was very lucky that I have all my movements. I full recover my senses, and I'm sure it's going to be just a question of time. And if physically I'll be apt to drive again, I would like to drive again, but it's still too soon to make any decision, Paul.
Okay, there's another addition then, Emerson. It seems like in a week it's gone from Emo saying that he's probably not going to drive again, and now are you telling us you are and soon, or what are you saying?
I think I saw Danny comment in the beginning, and Danny was exactly right. When you just have to have a crash, you say, I'm not going to drive, and then you start recovering, you feel better, you feel you can physically be ready again to race, and you wish to race again. But at this time, I think I'm very emotionally involved. There's been a lot of mental stress, a lot of physical stress, and I need another 4 or 5 weeks to make up my mind.
Hey, Emerson, this is Danny.
Danny, hi, Danny.
How are you? We really miss you, and you know, I went out of had my crash at Michigan at the same time last year, and I know how you feel.
Thank you, Danny.
Just, you know, watch these races and take your time. You've got plenty of time to make that decision. I know it's going to be a tough one for you.
I know that you called the other day. I was asleep when you called in, and you're right. I mean, I need time to recover. and there's a lot of mental stress. And I think being with the family here, the kids, my wife Teresa, is great. But I miss the racing track.
Well, I know what you feel, and Jack Garuda, I'm sure, would offer one of his Legends cars for us, and we'll have a match race between all of us guys that are all banged up.
Okay.
And while we're watching Christian here, by the way, Emerson, nothing's changed on the course, so we've been following Christian here. How's he doing?
I think Christian is doing a fantastic job. It's his second season. He's much more mature, and he knows all the track now, and he's charging. He's a tough driver. I mean, he's not to win in Detroit, and I think any time now he can win a race.
Emerson, one last question from me, and then we'll let you go. What do you think of Al's chances to win the championship?
Dan, you know that Al is always run very strong at the end of the race, and he's there. He's already 7th place in this race, and he's going to get points, and he finished every race. I think Al has a good chance of winning the championship. For sure, Jim Vasser potentially is the most likely can win and be the new champion, but Junior will be there. I mean, the pressure will be there, and Marlboro Team Penske could be running very strong in the next few races.
Emerson, thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you soon.
We miss you, Emo. We hope you get back real quick.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, my friend.
Bye-bye.